truthful about what's going on. All of it come into play. We need to come together. The individuals on the ground are truly experiencing challenging time. So if you're sitting and going and getting other folks' messages and won't go there to check and see where it is and listen to what on our media bliss, then you're not going to be understanding. But you can, you know it has happened, support it by giving whatever you're capable of giving. If it's $1, that's fine. We're going to try to work through this radio station to make sure we provide with 10 to 20 cases of water to whatever state, if Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, all of the states need it because of the flooding. We want you to offer the prayer because we're going to offer one. We want to get a moment of silence for the ones that have been lost in the hurricane. And then we want to take that opportunity to always lift up the ones that are still here but still have to deal with the tragic and the traumatic experience. We're going to take about 30 seconds to recognize those individuals. Truly thank you for supporting us. This is why we ask you to make sure you give. You don't have to give to us. Give to whatever area you're in. I don't care what part of the country. You can send some kind of finance to help. There are several people out there raising funds. But there are some out there you have to kind of watch for. But you know the ones that are legit, that are raising funds to help those individuals. Because whatever the available funds is just not meeting those individuals. Because a lot of those individuals are running to what you told me you have to get an SBA loan and all that, and here you're dealing with the destruction of everything you have. You don't have time to be thinking about that. You need immediate help. So we need to call upon our political supporters, are the ones that represent us, we are constituents here, to say, go do more than you're doing. Don't sit back and be quiet. It's time to come together. Don't continue to let the country be divided because you're in one political party or the other. We're asking you to go and do something. We're challenging you to go do something. As we move forward with our title, How to Foster Consent in a Relationship, we want to first kind of look at the L.O.V Cafe, because this is a special cafe. This cafe focuses on soothing your appetite. By looking at the cafe, the L.O.V Cafe, which is the real love talk show that soothes your appetite, we want to look at the menu that you may experience in a L.O.V Cafe. First of all, the appetizer and the starter at the L.O.V Cafe, or just in a relationship, is lust. We have been in that place. Just about everybody in our lifetime has been in a stage of lust. Then some people put it in a tier of a association. You see it, you recognize it, excites you, but that don't mean you got to react to it. The second part of the menu is the entree. See, the entree is the attraction. That's when you really tingling inside want to get to know someone to build a healthy relationship. So the entree, if you go to the restaurant, it is a 12-ounce sirloin. It is a filet mignon. It's a chicken fettuccine. If it's just a baked chicken, fish, salmon, crab, whatever it may be, that is the attraction. That is the part of the tier of the relationship out the social. You want to get to know more about that person. That's the acquaintance stage. Also the friendship stage. All come into the entree. It provided you the meat on the bone. So what we want to make sure we do when we understand the L.O.V Cafe, we understand that when you first experience the appetizer and the starter, that's the lust in your life. Then you move forward for the acquaintance and friendship, and that's the attraction. Then you want to throw in that the romantic part, when you begin to have those true and you're moving in a direction. We just said don't move too fast without being intentional about what you want to do. You don't need to get into go to this L.O.V Cafe trying to run through it straight to the dessert. You have to go through the process of the lust, the attraction, and the dessert is the attachment, what pulls you together. So you want to have a romantic relationship, or where you want to have a life partnership. This is what you're pushing for. And then last but not least, part of the menu that is so available for you is the beverage. It comes first when you walk in and have a seat, but it is the last thing you want to pour down to try to macerate and grow and have the inside come together so you can see how the lust, the attraction, the attachment, and now the awakening will be your beverage. So you will be in a position to make the right decision and have a healthy relationship. If you're not seeking what we call healthy relationship, you will not know. It's no need to try to get into a relationship unless you're straightforward. It's going to be casual. We're going to just do these things that's in this modern day dating and relationship. We don't want to put forth an effort because that ain't what we're looking for. Find out. Be intentional about being in a relationship. The Love Cafe requires you to be intentional because it gets you to understand that you're going to go through a phase of lust. You're going to move to the attraction. You're going to move forward to the attachment. Then you're going to move to the awakening moment. That leads us to understanding the Love Cafe and the acronym of love. When we're talking about love, we look at the acronym of L in that, which is love. For L is listening. If you're not in a relationship and not capable of listening, you don't need to be there because your active listening skill plays a major part in how successful that relationship will be. The next L is loyal. Are you ready to be loyal? Are you ready to be committed? If not, do not waste your time and someone else's time. Your time is something you control. Your energy and effort is what you control, but your time is value. Value your time, value your energy, value your effort. Make sure you're the one in control. Put as much time that you want to. If you don't want to be in it, you want to be casual, but let them know you will be casual. Are you willing to be loyal? It calls upon you to be a way that you may not want to be. Loyal is good, being able to be committed, making sure you ain't doing the things that lose trust in a relationship. The next thing is laughter. The L is laughter. You can't laugh, you got a problem. You can't chuckle, you got a problem. Yeah, we can go in life and say we're going to go on this vibe and this joy and all this, but you need to be able to have laughter to get to the joy and the peace that you can have in your life. You can look at the likability. What is the likability? Do you like that person? Do they like you? Are they capable of liking you? And are you capable of liking them? See, if you can like someone, you can love them. You see, then you can, if you like somebody, you can love them, then be in love with them. Go through the phases of a true relationship where you see that all of the characteristics are put in the right place. Lovable. Are you lovable? Or you just can't get along with anybody? Some people are lovable and some people are just crappy. And they continue to move forth in life and ask the question, why can't I find peace? Why can't I find the joy? Why can't I find the happiness? Why can't I find the love? Because you know what? You are not even likable. And you definitely not lovable. The O in the acronym of love, the love acronym is overcoming. Being able to overcome the challenges that you have in life. Don't let the challenges knock you down. If they knock you down, get back up. Always have a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C so you can be successful in life and get the favorable outcome you're looking for. Observing. You have to observe individuals, observe your environment. You can't get stuck on one thing. Like if you got the phone at your ear, you can't be observant. You got to be, when you're out amongst the world and all the out, you got to have your head on a swivel. So do you observe people around you? Open-minded. Are you open-minded, or do you spend time with a closed mind because of the toxic relationship you experienced 20 years ago? A toxic relationship you experienced 10 years ago. You still have a closed mind, and you're not going to function in a loving, caring, peaceful, joyful relationship. Then you're talking about love. You're talking about being able to be loved someone to become one. Oneness is the other. Are you willing to be one? Or do you want to put 80% in and 20% out? 50% in and 50% out. That don't work. Be willing to give 100% so your relationship can be successful. Oneness is something you have to willing to do. Open-heartedness. The other O that focus on in the acronym of love is open-heartedness. Do you have an open heart? Are you willing to understand and have empathy for others? Are you willing to do that? Overjoy is the next O we're going to look at. You're talking about the Love Cafe, the acronym LOVE. Overjoy. Then next you have overlooking faults. And next you move to the V. Before we move from the overlooking faults, people have to realize we all have faults. We all have falls, fell short of the glory of our Lord and Savior. And we got faults, and we have to understand that you can't make your faults more or less than someone else. You have to make sure you address your fault, and then you have to realize when you see someone else's fault, you have to overlook if that's what you want to be a part of. The V, as I just said, is value. How valuable are you? How do you value your relationship? How do you value the experience of a romantic relationship? Vulnerable. Are you vulnerable? Because you cannot get to the inner self and allow yourself to be happy inside unless you allow yourself to have vulnerability. Vision. Is it you? Do you have vision of what the future? What do you want this relationship to look like? You have to have a conversation in the acquaintance stage, better known as the attraction stage, talking about what is the outcome I want. Do it want to be favorable, or we just want to go through the motion? So you got to have vision, validate. Can you validate your partner or your mate? And look at the same thing from their validation. Viability. Are you viable? Are you available? Vibrant. Are you excited? We're talking about vibes. Are you vibrant? Vigorous, that you're not going to give up, you're going to work. If this the relationship you want to be in and put 100% in, you're going to work hard to make sure that relationship is successful. And virtue. That word is powerful. Are you a virtual man or woman? Do you understand what comes along with virtue? You just can't just be there and be virtual. You got to put the work in to be recognized as a virtual man or virtual woman. The E in the Love Cafe, or the word love in the acronym, is everything. You have to put everything in if you want to be successful. Everlasting. Your ultimate goal is for this relationship to be everlasting. There's no room for you to just go through the motion. Do you have time to spend 10, 15 years not able to get anything accomplished? It requires you to put the work in. It requires you to be successful. Truly, I want to give a shout out to our next sponsor once we finish with the E and the whole acronym as we put it together with love and see what it adds up to. We give a shout out to Mary Ruth's Restaurant. I know they are on a temporary hiatus, but they'll be back. You can check them out. We'll give you information in their promo. The next E is excitement. Is that relationship exciting? Easy going? Is it a hard fit for you? Are you at peace? Easy going? Do y'all just mesh so where it becomes easy going? Elegant. How you carry yourself. Is the relationship an elegant relationship? Or is the relationship a toxic, hands-off relationship? Empathetic. Enchanting. Are you empathetic? I mean, you can put yourself in other people's place. Enchanting means you're going to put yourself out there. You're going to make sure you're enchanting to those individuals. Empathetic is being able to understand whatever that person is going through. I can understand because I can put myself in that place. Empathetic, endearing. How endearing are you? Are you supported? Are you there for your mate? All of this in the Love Cafe and the acronym of love adds up to empowerment. If you experience and understand the L, the O, the V, and the E. You can empower yourself to be successful. You can empower yourself to make things happen when things sometimes don't seem like they will. What we have to do is keep working, keeping making the best out of the situation. Don't lay back or sit back and just say, I hope it happens. This requires your work, requires you to put all in to make sure your relationship is successful. That's our challenge. That's what we'll do. Mary Ruth's Restaurant of Georgiana, Alabama.
Georgiana, Alabama. Free food in a family-friendly environment. Mary Ruth's Restaurant offers home-cooked breakfast. All the fixings, you name it, they've got it. And not just home-cooked breakfast. Home-cooked breakfast, lunch, and dinner items. Mary Ruth's Restaurant specializes in a meat and 3 vegetables meal. And meat and 3. Also, home-cooked hamburgers, Philly cheesesteak sandwiches, and much more. Simple cooking. Mary Ruth's Restaurant and Seafood Fridays. Barbecue Saturdays, and it's all cooked and made from scratch, including the desserts and so much more. Just ain't good. 261 West State Highway 106 in Georgiana. Mary Ruth's Restaurant. Call today, 334-362-4032. That's 334-362-4032. Mary Ruth's Restaurant. Home-cooked meals, family-friendly environment, great food. You can ask for more at a restaurant. Mary Ruth's Restaurant in Georgiana. Breakfast from 7 a.m. until 10 a.m. Monday through Saturday. Lunch from 11 to 2. And dinner from 5 until 9. Barbecue Saturdays begin at 11 a.m. and last until 9. Mary Ruth's Restaurant in Georgiana. Home cooked food with a family-friendly environment. Come on, 11 a.m. until 5 p.m.
That's Mary Ruth's Restaurant in Georgiana, Alabama. That's 261 State Highway 106 West. Go check them out. The best Southern cooking in South Central Alabama. Co-owners Marvin Smith, number 586 with Attorney Incorporated. His wife, Sarah, Pastor Katrina Roper Smith, member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. Go check them out. Give them a call at 334-549-0950. Go to Facebook, type in Marvin Smith, or type in Katrina Roper Smith. It will populate your information and you'll get a chance to communicate with them, see what the status is at this point, and check them out. If the doors are open, go hit it, make it do what it do. If not, as soon as the doors open, go make it do what it do. As we look at our title is how to foster consent in a relationship, we first of all have to look at the first topic that relates to that. What does relationship consent means in a relationship? What does relation consent mean? We want to focus on how it affects your relationship. See, first, before we can talk about what relationship, what consent is a relationship, we need to first of all know what consent is. See, consent means respecting boundaries and never making assumptions. Respecting boundaries and never making assumptions. Assumption makes a ASS out of you. So don't assume anything. Actually get the facts to go along with what you're thinking. Red flags that indicate your mate or partner isn't respecting consent includes pressuring or guilting you into doing things you may not want to. That falls into something I'm going to share. You may be an experience of not realizing how this is a force on your consent, challenge your consent. Sign language. When you're talking with someone and they give you sign language, I don't mean actually what we're talking about, the use of hands to give sign language, but they actually speak. See, what they do is they try to shame you when they don't like what you're saying. Then they'll move toward insulting you to see how you're going to respond. Then they move to guilting you, putting you in a guilty situation because you didn't do what they asked you to do. And last, the sign, which is an end, is need to be right. You know when you're in those situations, you're in a danger to your consent. Those individuals will not respect your consent because they want to have it their way. So we have to always remember that consent in a relationship is a mutual agreement. And see, that's what something we need to always focus on. If I'm in a relationship and I got consent and I'm excited being in a relationship, we must have a mutual agreement between mate and partner that we're going to engage in physical or emotional intimacy. And that way we're going to engage in stable physical and emotional intimacy. We're going to engage in peace, physical and emotional intimacy. This is what consent in relationship starts off being. It's a mutual agreement. Are you in a relationship when there is no mutual agreement? It's either my way or your way, or it's the my way or the highway, or it's an imbalance of power. You got a lot of people that play with your physical well-being, your emotional well-being, your mentally well-being. So if we understand consent in a relationship is all about mutual agreement, that leads us to understanding how the process works. The process normally involves ongoing communication about what's comfortable and what's wanted. It's ongoing communication about what's comfortable and what's wanted. If individual makes you uncomfortable, that's not consent. If someone make you feel like you're not wanted, that's not consent. See, relationship is all about understanding what's comfortable. It's all about what you want because you're going to communicate what's comfortable to you and what you want out of this relationship. See, if you say, I want a favorable outcome, I'm intentional because I want to be married. That's my favorite outcome. You have laid it out there, and if individual is not willing to work with you to make the situation comfortable enough or give you what you need to be successful, then you need to move on because the red flags have already been shown up. It's how you respond to the red flag. When they come to the point that they want to control and have an imbalance of power, they're going to put pressure on you. They're going to make you feel guilty. They're going to shame you. They're going to insult you. And then they want to be right. No matter where it is, they want to be right. Red flag is there. It's time to move on because they will never respect consent in your relationship because they don't have respect for themselves. Let's truly be honest and be forthcoming. When you're in a relationship and you agree to consent to be in that relationship, it's a mutual agreement. It shouldn't be you agreeing and they're not. That's like having a relationship with someone say, I'm only going to put 50% in. I ask you what you're going to do with the other 50%. Or I'm only going to put 80% in. What you're going to do with the other 20%? Because if it's not confined to this relationship, it has to be confined to something else. So you have to have consent in a relationship to be successful. You have to be able to engage in positive physical and emotional intimacy. You have to make a point that you put yourself in that position. Then you ask the question, why consent is important in a relationship. You need to ask yourself that. See, consent is important in all relationships. I don't care if it's a romantic relationship, family relationship, friendship, work relationship, a community relationship, organization relationship, a church relationship. It must be understood that consent is important. See, consent uncoerced permission to react with the body or the life of another person. You see, consent is all about not just your body, but your life. And you have to be straightforward and understand how important consent is to the relationship and a healthy relationship. Coercion can look like pressure to do something. They go press you to do something. They go coerce you to do something. That is not consent. See, it can lead to physical force, bargaining, or someone hold power. See, remember, people want to control you. They got to have the power, imbalance of power. See, someone hold power over another to get what they want. See, it's all about what you want. When you're dealing with the people and they show themselves, believe what you see. See, consent can look like asking about boundaries. Talk about boundaries. See, boundaries in a relationship is very important. Actively communicating or actively listening to respond is even more important. Always respect those boundaries that have been put into play. See, in a romantic relationship, consent helps build trust. And you know how important trust is to a relationship. Trust is the cornerstone, one of the pillars for a foundation of solidness. See, we're talking about being able to respect one another, being able to trust each other. See, when consent helps to build trust and get you closer to each other, it brings you together. It sets a good foundation. You remember that word? As both people can be close without worrying whether the person is there to support you. Are they there for the same reason? See, consent also helps us understand what we're comfortable with during the close moment. When things get tight, you want to know if that person got your back. Consent allows you to understand that. It also makes sure both people agree and feel good. That's a good thing. Being agreeable and feeling good about being agreeable. So you got to feel good about what's happening. This is something new. This is the peace and the joy and the love I've been looking for. So if we say why it's important, consent is important in all relationships, not just romantic relationship. Let's give a shout out to our next sponsor. That's L.O.V. Stallworth Lawn Service. Mr. Stallworth, we want to thank you for supporting what we're doing. Truly the manicure expert of South Central Alabama, Mr. Tony Stallworth, better known as Anthony Stallworth. Truly, let's give a shout out to L.T. Stallworth Lawn Service, LLC.
Right on, check out L.O.V. Lawn Service, LLC, the manicure expert in South Central Alabama. For more information, call Tony Stallworth at 300-308-7401. Again, that's 300-7401. Go to Facebook and check out Anthony Stallworth. Anthony, and you can connect with me. So we look forward to making
L.T. Stallworth Lawn Service, LLC, Mr. Anthony Stallworth. Go to Facebook, type in Anthony Stallworth, and also give him a call at 334-300-7401. L.T. Stallworth Lawn Service, LLC. Give him a shout out. The manicure experts of South Central Alabama. As we move forward, we want to look at how do you show consent in a relationship? Do you really know how to show consent? Do you know some of the buzzwords that let you know that consent is being shown? Ask yourself that. Have you been in a relationship where you show consent? A couple important words that we can say that are show consent. First of all is affirmation. You can affirm what's going on is what you're looking for and want. You can affirm that there's some joy and some peace and some love. Then you got to be able to communicate that consent to individuals. See, consent must be confirmed, meaning that sexual partners, the point of intimacy, need to be actually saying or doing something to check for consent. You have to actually do it. You can't just think it's going to be automatic. Communication is a fundamental to consent. See, communication of consent can be verbal, nonverbal, what we say cues. Consent can never be assumed. I'm going to say that again. Consent can never be assumed. You actually have to recognize and know there's a true effort to show consent. If you've not seen it, don't assume it's okay. Consent in a relationship about being clear. See, consent is about being clear and concise. Consent in a relationship is all about being enthusiastic about what you want to do, and making sure your mate is comfortable with it. Again, consent in a relationship is about being clear, being enthusiastic about what you want to do, and making sure your partner is comfortable with it. See, you can show consent in a relationship by doing several things. First of all, ask for permission. Ask your partner or mate before starting any intimate activity. Such as, example, can I? You fill in the blank. Do you want me to? Do fill in the blank. Listening. Paying attention to your partner's body language and tone. Pay attention. Give verbal consent. I mean, it has to come out and say yes. The word yes is just as strong as the word no. She's saying yes, or another affirmation statement like, I'm open to try. That's giving consent. Using nonverbal cues. Nonverbal cues. Use positive body language, such as smiling, maintaining eye contact, and nodding. These are nonverbal consent. Checking in. Regularly ask your partner if they are still comfortable, such as, is it still okay to do this? Checking in. Respecting boundaries. Acknowledging that your mate has the right to change their mind at any time. You have to acknowledge that. It might have been fine 2 days ago, but it might not be fine today. Educating yourself. Learn about consent and healthy relationship. See, consent is important because it helps avoid guesswork and ensure that everyone is clear about what's happening. If you focus on clear, again, the word clear, and enthusiastic, see, enthusiastic consent can look like this. Periodically checking in with your partner, such as asking, is it still okay? Providing positive feedback when you are comfortable with an activity. Explicitly agreeing to a certain activity. Either say yes, or another affirmation statement like, I'm open to try. These are some things that's so important when we're talking about consent, really to the point how to show it. I hope something in there we share with you put you in a position so you can show that you're consent. Give a shout out to our next sponsor, which is Lena Payton Webb. We want to continue. You remember Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, but it's Lena Payton Webb's Blue Impressions Publishing. Check her out. Go to Facebook, or go to Instagram, go to the group area of Facebook and type in Blue Impression Publishing.
Share your inspiring story with the world? Look no further than Blue Impression Publishing, the premier publishing company that specializes in creating meaningful and impactful books and journals. Blue Impressions Publishing, veteran owned by author Lena Webb, offers comprehensive services to bring your vision to life. Their mission is to empower writers, mental health professionals, consultants, coaches, and spiritual leaders to make a positive impact through their publications. Not only do they publish your words, they give you the strategy to be a successful author and earn an additional source of income. So whether you're an aspiring author or a seasoned writer, Blue Impressions Publishing is the publishing company for you. Don't let your story go untold. Visit the website today, yourartisticexpressions.com. You can also call 833-951-2665 to learn more about their services and to get started on your publishing journey. Blue Impressions Publishing, where inspiring stories leave a lasting impression.
To connect, contact Blue Impression Publishing, Lena Payton Webb, Organization by Data Show Incorporated. You can give her a call at 833-951-2665 or go to Facebook, type in Lena Payton Webb on Instagram. Then you can populate her information, contact her, or you can go and type in Facebook, Blue Impressions Publishing, and it's in the group section. Give her a shout out. They can publish your memoir, your story, your comic book, your coloring book, whatever you have, your novel you want to publish, your life story. She can work with you. They can help publish it, and also set up strategies to make sure you benefit through the marketing part of it. So thank you so much, Lena Payton Webb, Blue Impression Publishing. As we move forward, we're going to look at, do you still need consent in a relationship? Yes, you have to have consent in a relationship. So you still need consent in a relationship because consent is mandatory. Consent is a requirement for your health. Consensual relationships, it's important to ask for consent before any sexual activity, including kissing and cuddling. Consent is ongoing. Consent is a conversation that can change or be revoked at any time. So you should check in with your mate to make sure everyone is enjoying the activity. The next thing, consent is not implied. Consent cannot be assumed. Assumption puts you in a bad situation. Even in a relationship, silence says not saying no or agreeing to previously activity doesn't mean consent. It might be consent Monday, but it might not be consent by Friday. Consent is enthusiastic. And enthusiastic consent is a positive way to express consent. It can be verbal, nonverbal, such as a smile, eye contact, or nodding. Consent is respectful. Consent is all about communicating, understanding, and respecting boundaries. It shows respect. See, consent shows respect for yourself and your partner. Consent is not coercion. Consent can't be negotiated. If no isn't a viable option, if someone is pressured, manipulated, or afraid to say no, That's not consent. Consent is important because consent builds healthy relationship and eliminates the entitlement that one party might feel over the other. Consent is a process. If you want to move to the next level of sexual intimacy acts, consent is never implied and cannot be assumed, even in the context of a relationship. Just because you're in a relationship does not mean that you have permission to have sex with your partner. You have to have consent. You have to. So continue to believe and know that it's important. Consent is. I want to give a shout out to our next sponsor. Good to have this young lady in our group. And that's Soap Gems by Jackson and Gray. I am Dr. Lorinda B. Smith, the host of the Love Cafe. And it's the real love talk show that soothes your appetite. This is WVSW Radio, the #1 internet station. We have listeners and watchers in 45 countries and on 6 continents. We appreciate you time to be here. God is so good. He has blessed us one more time to have an awesome group of young, intelligent, and smart people to make that point to listen to what we're doing here. We're interactive. Thank you so much. Several people are joining. Miss Bush, EBS is joining us with a member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. Thank you so much, Bush. You also have this little like Cristala. Thank you. Marco, taking time to be here. Thank you, Marco. We also have Lisa. Lisa. I'm sorry, we're gonna give away to Marcy. Marcy is joining us. Thank you so much. Soap Gems by Jackson and Grace. We want to thank them for taking time to be here with us. It's a blessing.
In South Central Alabama. Contact Soap Gym by Jackson and Gray. The owner is Ms. Jennifer Jackson. Contact number 251-369-1344 or go to Facebook. Type in Jennifer 1N Jackson or Charlie's Angel. There's several items like bombshells, has some lifetime, lovey lovers, straight savage, manpower, good motion, and calming lavender sea salt. So please check her out. Again, that number is 251-369-1344. Soap Gems by Jackson and Grace.
Soap Gems by Jackson and Grace, and we gave her a number, but she has a new number, changed the office number, and it is 251-227-1885. Thank you so much, Jennifer Jackson, with one N, better known as Charlie Angel. Go to Facebook, type in Jennifer Jackson or Charlie Angel. Populating information. Soap Gem is some of the best perfume and soap scents in South Central Alabama. Give her a call at the number, which is 251-227-1885. Give Jennifer Jackson a call or one of her team or staff person. Talk with them about an inventory as you go to Facebook. If you have the opportunity to be on Facebook, type in Jennifer with one N Jackson, and it populate, DM her, and let her know you're interested. Next few topics we're going to tie in. The first one is how to give consent in a relationship. Some people just don't know. The best way is uh, is communication. See, a good way of working on giving consent is communicating consent. You can do it verbal, which is spoken words, nonverbal, body language like facial expression, hand signs, and the actions we take. Words like yes, that feels good, or keep going actions like nodding yes, pulling a partner closer, actively touching a partner. The next thing is words like no, stop, or wait. Letting you know those communication consent. Letting you know that's good communication, a good way to communicate. Be aware, be listening, put on your listening skills, and you can be in a better position. Should you ask for consent after you say, how do you know you're giving consent in a relationship? The question asks, should you ask? Should you ask for consent in a relationship? And the question is yes. You should always ask for consent before any sexual activity in a relationship. That's including kissing or cuddling. Consent is a vital part of a healthy relationship, and that's what we all striving for, a healthy relationship. So you must be in a position for you to understand how important consent is to a relationship. See, it's so vital because it's show ways of respect for yourself and your mate. See, it's a way to show respect for yourself and your partner or mate, such as it's a sign of respect. It's a way to communicate. It's a way to avoid pressure. It's a way to acknowledge needs. That is what consent, and that's why it's so vital and it's so important to a relationship. See, consent is freely given and should not be coerced, forced, or pressure. A clear and enthusiastic yes is a sign of consent. But if your partner says no, doesn't say anything, or seem unsure or uncomfortable, then you should not proceed. Always ask for consent before you begin any sexual activity, including kissing, cuddling, and any kind of sex, even if your partner consent in the past. Act in a way that makes it clear if it would be okay. That's getting consent. And if they happen to say no, take no for no. It is no other word you can replace for no but no. No. See, otherwise, if you don't listen to what they're saying when they say no, you might be pressuring them and doing something they don't want to do. So make sure you're listening actively. Make sure you ask the question. What happened a month ago have nothing to do with the next month. A lot goes on. You have to do the right thing. So consent is vital to a relationship. Consent is important to a healthy relationship. So we have to make sure we continue to put ourselves in a position that we understand that the little thing does matter. See, too many times we think it's all about the big things. He said that last time, but she's saying something now. Or he's saying something now. Because it works both ways. I'm Dr. Lorenzo D. Smith, the host of the Love Cafe, the real love talk show that soothes your appetite. This is WVSW Radio, the #1 internet station. We have listeners in 45 countries on 6 continents. We're so blessed to be here before you. We're excited, and our hashtag is responsible. but it also make it do what it do, and we're going to continue to do it. So let's give a shout out to our next sponsor, TriStat LLC, Mr. William Scott.
We provide specialized business and management consulting services. TriStat LLC keeps your consulting needs to the interest of engineers, accounting, research, and management in the sector. Contact William Scott at 334-526-0228.
Mr. William Scott, TriStat LLC, the consulting firm that meets your consultant needs. Give Mr. Scott a call at 334-320-5438, or go to Facebook, type in William Scott, or the Instagram, look for William Scott. Communicate with him and see how he can help your organization administer the grant and put the best presentation that you can submit to the grantor. So give him a call, Mr. William Scott. Thank you so much, Mr. Scott, for supporting what we're doing. Our last two topics, and one of them is just leading us toward the closing or the final thoughts. The question is, the statement is, discuss what are the 4 C's of consent. I don't know whether you understood there are some C's of consent. We're going to give them to you, and I want you to pay close attention. See, when you're talking about the 4 C's of consent, we're talking about open arms, understanding that the 4 C's of consent is very important to your relationship. The first C is clear. Are you clear about whether the person, your partner, your mate, is in consent of any activity that we're going through? Do you think continuous doing it even though you never continue to ask them is okay? So that's another C of consent. You have to continually ask your partner, your mate, about the sexual intimacy. Coercion free. It has to be where it's free of any kind of pressure, coercion, coerce, however you want to call it, on that person. That's the C. The last C is conscious. You have to be in the right frame of mind. You have to be conscious of what? You cannot have consent for somebody that's unconscious. Just remember that. The bottom line, these 4 C's mean that for validating consent to be given, it must be clearly communicated, ongoing throughout an interaction, free from any form of pressure and coercion, and given by someone who is fully aware, conscious, and conscious of their action. Without all these components, clear, continuous, coercion-free, and conscious, you do not have consent. Let's see the explanation of each C. Let's look at each and something tie in with it. C, which is clear, the first C, consent should be explicitly stated, and easily understood by all parties involved, leaving no room for biblical activity to the point where you're not clear on the answer you have. Continuous consent is not a one-time thing. It must be reconfirmed throughout an interaction and can be withdrawn at any point. They can withdraw the continuation of it. They can withdraw. Coercion free. Consent cannot be attained through pressure, threats, intimidation, and manipulation. It cannot be consent if those things are going on. Conscious. You have to be conscious. See, the person giving consent must be fully aware or conscious of what they're agreeing to and be mentally capable of making that decision. If there's someone you know that's not mentally capable because of what had occurred, that is not consent. And a relationship will not work because you have stepped over the boundaries way outside of normalcy. So you have to act, you have to continue to see how that person feel about it. Make sure they're conscious. Don't try to force them or coerce them into it. Let it be the free choice. Always make sure it's clear and understood. So communication, active communication is important. Very important. And the final thought here, I want you to kind of focus on some rules that you can keep in your mind about consent. There's 4 rules of consent. Number 1 is clear. We talked about they have to be a clear, explicit statement, easy to understand by all parties involved. The next thing is volunteer. They have to volunteer to do it. They have to volunteer to do it. You can't coerce them. You can't threaten them. You can't intimidate, manipulate them. Ongoing consent. You have to make sure that it's a continuation part of it. Make sure they're conscious. Don't just think because you're in a relationship, you're in a marriage, just a committed relationship, it's automatic consent for intimate activity. Make sure you have a conversation. Make sure you talk. Now let's go back. The 4 rules are clear, voluntary, coherent, and ongoing consent. You got to be coherent. They got to be able to be clear. They have to be conscious. Coherent, voluntary, clear, and ongoing consent. That means continuous. So the 4 I read out about the C's we're sharing, that these are needed. Clear, voluntary, coherent, and ongoing consent is not given by all participants. It's sexual assault. There's no room for assumptions. There's just no room. There's no room for assumption when it comes to consent. And there aren't different rules for people who hook up before. If you hooked up before, don't mean it's going to be like that the next time. Let's give a shout out to quite a few people that have joined us. We'll give a shout out to Brandon. Thank you, Brandon, for taking the time. Ali, thank you so much. We have presidential_19. Thank you so much, my brother. We have Marco. Thank you for joining us. Chapar, thank you. Can Do, thank you so much. We also have the homie AP. Thank you so much. Our man 01. We also want to say hi to Roy. Justin, thank you so much. Robites, thank you so much. Sherry_77. 1 Zeta Phi Beta 76. All right, thank you so much. Remember Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. We also have Marcy. Thank you so much. Then we have Kamira, Sam, thank you. We also have Brother Derek Pugh, 1914, member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity, Zeta Phi Sigma chapter of Greenville, Alabama. Thank you, my brother. He's our educational director. He deals with our Sigma Beta Club. Give him a shout out. If you have a son that you want to be in a youth group that's dealing with Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity, to build him from being a boy to a impactful man. Ricky Nelson, thank you so much for joining us. Coletta, thank you so much for taking time. We have Jewel, thank you. Esther Parker, we have a user. We also have Alicia. Alicia, thank you so much. We also have um, Miss, I'm going to say Miss Tate 20 Siegel, thank you so much. Mama Do, thank you so much. Another user from DC to Atlanta. Thank you so much. Healthy Steps for that's from DC to Atlanta. Thank you so much. Uh, Fritz, thank you so much for joining. Anderson, uh, B. Mari, thank you so much. Via YD136, Lee, thank you so much. Give a shout out to Kimberly. Thank you for taking time to be here. Top Fashion Moro, thank you so much. Dr. Tina, thank you so much. Shots by Dada, thank you so much for joining us. We also have Megan Gray, thank you, Megan, for taking time. Big Al, thank you so much for taking time. All of those individuals joining us. God has been so good. We have 3 or 4 more down at the bottom that I want to make sure we give a shout out to. We have joining us, jumped in. This is Yamas. Thank you so much. We have Food.ul. Thank you so much. We have a Marcy again. Thank you, Marcy. I say Marcy is also your sorority sister. Marcy, a member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. Give a shout out to those final womanhood, those ladies of the final womanhood. Give a shout out to my soror. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you for the support. We really appreciate you taking time to be here and connecting with us. We want you to also give a shout out to several vendors who's coming on air now. We have D9 underscore apparel. Then we have Elegant Greek International. These are 2 organizations. You can go to Instagram, type in and see some of the Greek apparel that they have. Thank you so much for supporting what we're doing. It's about time to get out here. On tomorrow, we'll be rolling with our sports talk show. We're going to be pressed for time tomorrow. We'll kind of see can we get it in. It's going to be at 4 o'clock. I want to say everybody, I want to thank everybody for wishing me a happy birthday. Yesterday was my birthday, and thank God to allow me to see another year. We are celebrating our 7-year anniversary with this radio station, but just being able to, within the 20 or 30 days time frame, to celebrate God born day, my born day. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for all the well wishes and the birthday wishes. Thank you so much for being here supporting us. See, God is so good. Thank you so much, Marcy. Saying happy belated birthday, Frank. Thank you so much. Humble I am. Thank you so much. As we get ready to go close this out, I want to share with you all again. Make sure you're in your heart. You're willing to support. I'm gonna say family and friend, because I know we have sorority sisters. We have brothers down from North Carolina all the way down to Florida. Milton and Helena came through and caused a lot of damage. A lot of the brothers and sisters don't have things. Everybody there don't have things because it's been destroyed. If it's in your heart, send a couple cases of water. I'll give $20 or whatever you are capable of giving to support what's going down in those states on the Atlantic coast. It's not all about talking about what we're going to do and who we're going to vote for. It's all about whether we can get these individuals back on their feet. Prayer is the most important thing. I want you to pray for them. Pray for your own family. You know, I'm thinking about. I work at a university. I had a student yesterday. Emailed me and said that they're from Tampa. So their mom decided not to leave. So they decided, said, Doc, I just want to let you know I can't sit here with my mom down there. She went back and said, I mean, I get the assignments in, but I'm going back to Tampa, and I'm gonna be there with my mom, with my child. We're gonna be there with my mom. So we understand that, and we're praying for the Johnson family. We're praying that we don't know what damage, what you incurred. We're praying for you, and that's one of my students, and she's working hard. She's a senior at the university, trying to get into the area. She's in the area of teaching, and she's trying to finish her last method class, but she had to leave and go. But see, we have a heart. But I want you to give whatever you can afford to give to those hurricane victims and hurricane survivors, to the families. You can send $20, $30, $40. And if you want to make sure you come and support through this, we will make sure we make a donation. That's what it, God placed that on. If I can give a love offering like I do to you, I can give it to them. Thank you so much for your support. And I'm going to tell you, I love you. I love each and every one of you all because it's from my heart. Hashtag responsible. Hashtag keep on grinding. Hashtag communicate to understand. Hashtag we got this. I want you to say hashtag pray for all of those victims, all the survivors down in the great state of Florida, the great state of Georgia, the great state of Alabama, because it has some hits through Helena, great state of Tennessee, on the east coast over there of Tennessee, great state of South Carolina, great state of North Carolina, and wherever it tracked and went on. Let's pray, because that's what it's all about. But give to the best you're able to give. Let's give a shout out to Miss Alfreda Mitchell out of the great state of Alabama in the great county of Lowndes County, the 4-5. We want to give a shout out to you, Alfreda. Thank you so much for being here supporting what we're doing. We're about to close it out. Tomorrow we do schedule to have our talk show on tomorrow, our sports talk show, which is scheduled, if I'm not mistaken, 3:30, but that depends on what the position. I believe we won't be in a position to be here because we got a workshop going on. We're going to be at Birmingham working, trying to make it do what it do. Present some awesome information. God is so good. It's a blessing to be able to go. We're going to team up. We're going to make it do what it do. But if you want to give whatever you want to give, you don't have to go through. What we're saying here, you can make connection. If it's $5, give $5. $10, purchase 5 or 6 cases of water. Do something to give to those hurricane survivors, to their families, some victims and everything. Do that. Because see, God should weigh it on your heart because he weighs it on my heart and talk to you about it. Thank you so much, Alfreda, for a happy birthday wish. Thank you so much. Truly, I'm humble. Thank you so much, my sister. Thank you for caring enough to mention it. We're going to give a shout out to tomorrow, Michelle, who joined us. We also have Guitar. Thank you for being here as well. We also have Rosier. Thank you so much for being here. Jay Barber, taking time to join and be here. And we also have a couple individuals join us on this device over here. We mentioned Kimberly already. Thank you so much. It's been awesome. So what we're going to do, we're going to say goodnight to you. And we're going to play something to close it out because we want you to know that God is working in mysterious ways. He always will. You got to trust and believe in it. See, it has to be an amen moment in your life. Today, we're going to be at the amen time. We're going to say amen, amen. We're going to say it too because God has blessed us to be on here on WVSW Radio, the #1 internet station. We have listeners in 45 countries on 6 continents. And we want to thank each and every one of you all because you have given and you showed how you care. Thank you so much. And we truly going to repeat it again. We love you. There's nothing you can do about it. It comes from our heart. And as we get ready to close out, we want to play this song. We do not own the rights to the song, but we want to play it because I think it's fitting for what we're going through, what the challenges we're having. God is so good. He's blessed us. Amen. Come on now. Amen. You see that storm coming? But God got us. This is a Love Cafe, the real love talk show that soothes your appetite. It is a relationship talk show. So when you say amen, you receive that blessing from God, an opportunity to meet someone to be in your heart, and they'll always be there. Whether they're there today or whether they're there tomorrow. I want you to really think about how blessed you are. I know how blessed I am. I give him the praise because I can't do it without him. He's ahead. I'm just going to follow his plan. Follow his plan. And I keep on to say every day, amen. It's everywhere. He's everywhere. So take care of yourself, my brothers and my sisters, my listeners and my viewers. Thank you so much for taking time to listen to WVSW Radio, the number one internet station. 45 countries you heard of. 6 continents. It's his will and his way. This is our happy 7-year anniversary year. Thank you so much for supporting the studio. Have a great rest of the evening. And I just want to say to you, I love you all, and ain't a darn thing you can do about it. Have a good night. We'll see you on tomorrow.